Hello everyone and welcome to SpeedGaming 5, and today we've got another exciting spoiler log tournament race with you. We are a little over halfway through week 2 of the spoiler log tournament, and my name's ShadyForce and I'm joined today by Moogle Charm. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Shady?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this race. We were talking a little before it started about how these are both really strong runners, and this is also a really cool seed that I wish I was running myself. And we're going to see how they pull it out.
Yeah, same here. This should be really exciting.
So just to briefly introduce the runners, these are both guys I know pretty well. Hydrapower on the left. I've done loads of spoiler races with him. Really strong runner, kicks my ass regularly. SuperNinTaylor's an absolute veteran. He's done loads of rando tournaments. He was in the kind of rando retired team in the league. They're both very strong runners. They both have good execution, and this should be a really good race.
I just want to call out that they grabbed a sword, that chest in Sanctuary, and are on their way over to Kakariko right now.
Yeah, so all synced up so far. It's going to be interesting. They actually have quite a few options in the seed about safeties. They can be very aggressive, or they can play it a little bit safe, and it'll be interesting to see what decisions they make. But overall, this could be a really fast seed. I'm really looking forward to see how they handle this.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Looks like they're starting out in Kakariko, going to grab all their fun stuff here, and then we'll see if we'll see any divergence after that.
Hydrapower already with a tiny lead from skipping that chest that had the heart piece.
And grabbing a glove from his hut.
Interesting. So we are seeing SuperNinTaylor skip the well completely and go straight to the tavern. So SuperNinTaylor now takes a little bit of a superficial lead.
And finds those boots in the tavern. I'm heading directly to the library.
Yeah, very convenient lamp in this seed. So, and because it's so quick to pick up, it's going to be a bit of a no-brainer for both runners. They're not going to have to worry about dark rooms at all.
Typically in a spoiler seed, if the lamp is in a bit of a difficult spot, you're going to see most people just they're going to plow through all the dark rooms without that lamp, unless it's absolutely necessary to get through some of the fire-locked stuff.
And we are seeing a little bit of a difference in decisions here. SuperNinTaylor skipped the maze race, whereas Hydrapower is going to go for it. As you might have guessed, it's not an important item. We're going to get a full heart container in the maze race, and Hydra has decided that he wants that extra 4th heart container, and SuperNinTaylor is going to pass up on that. Presumably, he's never going to get back to it.
And finds a hammer in the floodgate chest.
Yeah, so that's 2 of our 3 pieces for the Dark World access. Just need the Moon Pearl, and then a large part of the seed will be open up to us. So there's another heart piece sitting there in the sunken chest, which SuperNinTaylor happily grabs. Might have played into his decision to skip the earlier heart container. Meanwhile, we see Hydrapower going to the back of Escape.
I think it's clear, just based on the initial routing here, that SuperNinTaylor's only going to grab safeties, it seems like, that are on his way. Whereas Hydrapower might go out of his way a little bit to get some extra help. There's our Moon Pearl in the back of Escape, so we've seen all the pieces we need for Dark World. Imagine we'll see one of these runners get in Dark World pretty soon. SuperNinTaylor getting the flute from the Ice Rod Cave. Back in so he could set up a fake water walk.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision, because a lot of the time you might want to get the ocarina before you end up going to Kakariko, but it is locked behind a bomb, so it could be that there was no convenient bombs for him to bring it to the Kakariko on his first visit, or it could have been that he just valued having the boots to get to Ice Rod Cave a little bit faster.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. I think, being able to pick up a couple of the other items, like the hammer, for instance, on the way to Ice Rod Cave. Maybe when he activates the flute, he'll enter the Dark World from the village. Is possible. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true. You often do end up back in the village several times in each seed, so there's almost always a convenient time to activate the flute.
Yeah, and I think what's great there, he just grabbed the sword from Hobo, so he probably wanted those boots to get over to Ice Rod Cave quickly, set up the fake water walk, and then get that second sword as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really clever decision because the Hobo sword can be a little bit of a slow test to get to, but he did it in the fastest way he reasonably could.
At this point, just seeing the runners kind of retrace each other's steps. Probably going to see SuperNinTaylor dive into the Dark World here now that he's got everything he needs.
Yeah, it looks like the first thing he's going to do is head to the village, presumably to activate that flute, and maybe go into the village of outcasts. We'll see if Hydrapower does the same thing with regards to Hobo. Mini Moldarms very helpfully dropping bombs. Normally you use all your bombs to kill them, but this time you have a nice hook shot to kill them with, and they are restocking you instead.
And SuperNinTaylor diving into that house to get a modified tree pull, get some bombs from that house directly to the east of the green activation spot.
It's not a very commonly seen tree pull at all.
Oh.
There are loads of locations, but that is one of the more obscure ones. Okay, SuperNinTaylor choosing to float away. Could be going to the portal near Link's house. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like we're seeing Hydrapower do the same thing as SuperNinTaylor. We don't know whether they independently decided on this or whether Hydrapower has this restream open and is watching his runner, his opponent. The great thing about this mode is that you can have the restream up, you can read chat, you can watch your opponent, see what they're up to, unlike a regular randomizer. So you can get an idea of where you are, you can get reminded of things you might not have thought of when you were frantically parsing the seed in the first 15 minutes.
A pretty hype cave there. I saw a couple of rods, saw Titan's mitts, I saw blue mail. I think that's solid 10 out.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Bolt rods, glove, and an armor in Hype Cave. And you thought the hype was dead in V31. Well, you were wrong.
Not today.
It's just not today. Okay, so we are seeing SuperNinTaylor now head to the south of the village. Gets a nice spin speed. Interested to see. Okay, he's going to the brewery. Meanwhile, you get to see the hype all over again in Hydrapower's side.
Taylor diving into the brewery to get that green goo. Probably just for safety, unless, there's a kid, obviously.
Yeah, bottles usually good safety. Could be sick kid. Could also be a sequence break of Palace of Darkness. That's the other time it can come up. But the SuperNinTaylor going into Thieves Town. Our first look into one of the dungeons.
After getting that tempered sword, which is nice. So we're 9 minutes into the seed. We've got 3 swords, all 3 males, Dark World access, a couple rods. Pretty stacked early games for the.
Yeah, it's a kind of situation where you might look at the 4 hearts and think that this is a little bit scary, being in a Dark World dungeon with only 4 hearts. But he does have blue mail, and also he has the boots and tempered sword. And this is a dungeon he'll have practiced so many times doing NMG runs. He'll be comfortable with this equipment level. So he wouldn't really be expected to take a lot of damage. I mean, of course it can still happen. Like, Hellway can wreck you, can wreck anyone. But I'm not that surprised now to see him skip the heart early, because his level of equipment is actually quite good overall. One of the first things that's difficult when you start doing spoiler log races is to differentiate compass chests and map chests. And Thieves Town's usually the first place you go into and think, oh wait, no, which one is the big key? And we saw a little bit of a hesitation on SuperNinTaylor's side, but quickly remembered. Muscle memory can take over.
He's been having a little trouble there in the Hellway, but able to get through with still a couple hearts. He had to pause there a little bit before he could activate those boots to get through that door. Hydrapower making his way through Village of Outcasts now. Well, just picking up his bird sword, probably going to head into Thieves Town. He took a little bit of a different route to get here. Obviously, he grabbed that stuff from Hype Cave first, and then took the other portal in Rico to get here, but slightly behind, but by no means anywhere for this yet.
Yeah, he does have 2 extra heart containers, which probably is the major difference between them at the moment. And while
and the extra mail.
Oh yeah, he used the red mail as well. I forgot about that. Hopefully it's not going to be a factor here in Thieves Town, although it could be. I might have just cursed them right now. But in the later dungeons, there's certainly more dangerous dungeons to come, where the extra hearts will allow him to be more aggressive, if nothing else, in certain rooms. Yeah, that's the worst feeling in that room on Hydrapower's side, when you get a little bit of bad luck from the Zazek and he knocks you into the bunny beam. Yes, chat pointing out that Hydrapower also has been to Sahasrara's closet to pick up the Cane of Samaria, and SuperNinTaylor is yet to do that. So in reality, this race is about tied. Oh, Hydrapower nailing the God Pixel, which is really nice. Nice, clean, damageless, scripted blind fight on SuperNinTaylor's side.
Getting some bombs for his trouble, and more importantly, a full magic. You know, one thing I think worth mentioning here, so obviously SuperNinTaylor, you know, when he got Dark World access, ended up going to Hype Cave and then starting directly towards the Village of Outcasts and skipping the pod area. Obviously, we haven't seen any map checks from these 2 runners here. In the spoiler log, we're able to see right off the bat which ones are pendants, which ones are crystals. Our lovely tracker, Poor Collector, has been able to pre-mark those for us, and you can see that with pod being a pendant. Obviously, SuperNinTaylor didn't find it necessary to go over there quite yet. Making his way over to Death Mountain to see what he's looking for over here. He's going to stay in Death Mountain, if he's going to make his way into Dark Death Mountain. But interesting that, you know, Hydrapower ended up collecting that Cane of Samaria early on. SuperNinTaylor still does not have it, so you see he won't be making his way into Turtle Rock or anything like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what his plan is here. What is on Death Mountain that he's looking for.
From chat in terms of the mountain climbs. Yes, this means at least for SuperNinTaylor, he'll have at least one extra mountain climb. The great thing about these spoiler seas is you're able to see when you got to do a bunch of fetch quests to dip the mountain 2, 3, or even 4 times on occasion to get what you need. So obviously SuperNinTaylor's coming up here early to grab something of importance before heading back down.
Okay, that does seem quite important. He picks up the Bombos medallion, which lets him into both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire in this particular seed.
I'm up here just for Bombos, so I would imagine that we're probably going to see a Mire dip pretty soon.
Yeah, so we are definitely seeing some divergence here. Hydrapower's picked up more items in the overworld without Death Mountain, and now he is doing Skullwoods. We didn't see SuperNinTaylor beat Skullwoods while he was in the area. And now SuperNinTaylor is over here in the eastern area to Hasfala's Closet, where we have our Samaria. And it could be that he made a little mistake and he forgot to pick it up before he went to Jet Mountain.
Well, the Bombos was in the Dark World, and he doesn't have Mirror yet. So he may have routed this so that he can hit Mire after picking up Samaria, just from this point on.
Yeah, of course, depending on where the mirror is, you might have to climb the mountain once to get that, and then go up again on the Light World anyway.
Right.
Yeah, of course, good point.
And it's possible he decided not to do Skullwoods because a 4-heart Mothula is very scary. You could see Hydrapower struggling a little bit with the RNG there with Mothula, but getting a couple sword slashes in there and finishes him off.
Yeah, with Tempered Sword it's not so bad, and with Red Mail it makes it quite a bit safer.
Yeah.
But his 2 extra hearts for sure helps a lot.
And the mail, right? I'm going to Ice Palace, so completely debunking our thought that he'd be going into Mire and using combos potentially at some point here in Ice Palace. Be on there.
Yeah, of course, with the new Icebreaker, having Samaria before we go into Ice Palace makes the dungeon a little bit quicker and quite a bit easier. It also depends on what items he needs in Ice Palace, of course. But it does let you get to the right side faster if there is an item over there. And it looks like Hydrapower, instead of climbing the mountain, is going to go straight to the Ice Palace as well, and he's going to follow SuperNinTaylor.
SuperNinTaylor getting a little crossed up there. Maybe he thought that was map chest, when in reality it's the compass chest. You saw he kind of dipped in there a couple of times and ended up noping out to continue his Icebreaker path.
Yeah, it's a bit funny. Most dungeons, the map chest is the first chest you encounter in the dungeon between the map and compass. But there's a couple of dungeons where it's the second one, and this is one of them. Struggling a little bit the Icebreaker, he's just going to have to reset. You need to move left 1 frame after placing the Samaria block. And I think he's moving a little bit too far.
Still struggling there a bit. I personally can't hit the 1 pixel slash myself when moving to the left. I always have to do pause buffers. He's struggling there a little bit.
It's giving Hydrapower a chance to catch up if Hydrapower can get this first try.
There we go, he gets it. Probably by force of habit opening that big key chest. Find a compass.
Yeah, but that little bit of time waste now means that Hydrapower is taking over.
Yeah, you can see him pause there a little bit. Looks like he probably had to go through the spoiler log there quick to see which chest it is that he's getting crossed up with. And it's probably this one, the map chest, where Hydrapower picks up his butter sword.
Yeah, it's quite funny to see them already with the butter sword 19 minutes into the seed, but they're not going to have any trouble with their offense in the seed for sure. Yeah, a little bit of indecision on his side is giving Hydrapower a little bit of a lead. And I don't think I think it's fair to say neither of them had clean icebreakers. I imagine they'll both be on the practice hack practicing that after this, because it can cost valuable seconds.
Yeah, and chat pointing out that SuperNinTaylor is watching this stream, or at least participating in. He mentioned something about his terrible controller there, and maybe that was causing some icebreaker issues.
Oh yeah, if his D-pad is not responsive enough, then it can be really difficult to get those one-frame inputs.
Onto a pretty easy cold stare fight with that butter sword. You just need 4 slashes. SuperNinTaylor starting with the Bombos medallion.
He had to because he didn't have enough. He didn't have enough magic for Fire Rod because of the icebreaker. And almost sync crystal catches. So it looks like at this stage, Hydrapower's probably opened up a little bit of a lead. Well, I think, yeah, probably a little bit of a lead because Skullwoods might be a little bit faster than the trip up to get Bombos Medallion. It's still very close, though. Still very close and very hard to call. Okay, it looks like... sorry to cut you off, Moogle. Yeah, it looks like SuperNinTaylor is now choosing to go to Skullwoods, armed with his gold sword, which does the exact same damage as the tempered sword he has before. Interesting, we didn't see this. Hydrapower's going in the light world up towards Tower of Hera. We didn't see this in SuperNinTaylor's side.
This is interesting. Typically in a spoiler race seed, if the mirror is readily available and there's nothing in Mire, you might see this kind of right before they dip into GT. So with SuperNinTaylor not diving into Tower of Hera, you'd think that maybe there's nothing here. So we'll just have to see if Hydrapower just wants to clear this off early, or if there's actually something upstairs that he wants.
Like, there must be something here, otherwise you would generally leave it... no, actually, I lie. I say you would leave it late in the seed and do it at the end before Ganon's Tower, but that depends on where the mirror is, and they may never get that mirror in this particular seed because Swamp is a crystal, is a pendant.
And okay, once again, almost simultaneous boss clears here. Hydrapower taking out Moldorm, SuperNinTaylor taking out Attila, and picking up another crystal. Hydrapower still has a 1 crystal lead here, but has to do that Bombos pickup over in Hookshot Cave, where SuperNinTaylor already took care of that.
Oh no, he just dead rocked himself. But I have to say I do like the way Hydrapower's done this, assuming the mirror is not going to be acquired anytime soon. because he's done some light world stuff, and now he's going to the dark world to get his Bombos medallion. So we see SuperNinTaylor going to the Mire area now. Both Mire and Desert are fully clearable crystals right now. So he'll be knocking out 2 fast crystals here.
Normally he would be doing them right back to back, but I have to find that mirror first. So hopefully it's in Mire so he can do that.
I keep forgetting that. It's
Yeah.
it's quite unusual actually, yeah, to have a non-mirror seed.
And chat rightfully pointing out that if we're not getting that mirror, that we're going to have to find a book to get into Desert. So hopefully one of these runners finds that or the mirror soon so they can do Desert as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting little wrinkle that can catch you out if you're not careful as well. See how they handle it.
I think it's actually worth calling out here that with the current layout, our runners are very close to go mode. And there it is. That book in Misery Mire, we don't really need the bow. Runners can probably mimic clip within GT. They have hook shots so they can get across Moldorm 2 if they needed to. You don't need flippers because Swamp is a pendant, so unless I'm mistaken, that's a 26-minute go mode.
Yeah, 26-minute go mode book. Doesn't come up that often.
No, it doesn't.
Here we go.
Oh, and SuperNinTaylor forgetting the big key. I need to backtrack here a little bit and giving hydrapower some precious seconds back. At this point, Shady Force, what would you do in terms of the number of safeties going forward? Have chat up, not chat. If you have the stream up, you can see where Hydrapower is at. He's right on your You have 4 hearts. You have Butter Sword, so you have offense. Like, what do you do? Do you go out of your way to get anything more?
It's interesting.
Doing that?
It's interesting because it depends a lot on where the bottlenecks in difficulty are. Every seed has different bottlenecks, and some of them are easier than others. So in this particular seed, because they have neither a bow nor the silver arrows, the Vitreous fight himself is one of the difficult bottleneck points. They've already gotten past Cold Stare, and they had no problems there. And I suppose the Turtle Rock dungeon is the other bottleneck point. Arguably, Vitreous is the hardest part of the whole seed. So the fact that they're here already with the equipment they have and they intend to beat Vitreous suggests to me that they don't need anything more than they have. Because they can fill up their bottle and they're probably going to be fine in Turtle Rock. With the Gold Sword, they're going to be alright. Gold Sword boots, they're not going to have too much trouble in Turtle Rock. So I think what they have is what they've decided to settle on.
And real quick to call out, SuperNinTaylor did fill up that bottle with blue goo early on. So yeah, to your point, he's probably set unless there's a hard container that's directly in his path.
Yeah, the one difficulty is this particular fight. He has blue mail, I believe, still. He can take Vitreous will deal 3 hearts damage. So if he starts the optimal NMG, oh, he's not doing the NMG strat. He's just doing the stand-and slash strat. That's interesting. Because if he messes up the NMG strat on the 2nd or 3rd spin, he's dead. That's the problem. Even if the first one goes well, with such low health, even on blue mail. And I think that's why we saw him just do the super safe strat from the start to allow himself one mistake. They both just stood there and just used the gold sword.
And finally syncing up these bot fights here a little bit. Both of them taking out Vitreous. Very well done there.
Yeah, I don't think either of them had any troubles in the fight with the strat that they chose to do, and it was over pretty quickly. And I think they're going to be fine. I think they're just going to blitz through the rest of the seed as fast as they can and not stop for any safeties, unless it's really on the way. Maybe Hydrapower will fill up his potion with blue. But he's got red mail and 6 hearts, so I think he'll be comfortable with this. These are both really good runners. And they're very experienced at spoiler races.
SuperNinTaylor running over to desert. Did he forgot he had the flute?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I guess because he doesn't have the mirror, he's not doing the flute to mire area and mirror method of getting in, so he's just fallen back on his NMG muscle memory, I think. But it gives him a few more seconds of a lead to Hydrapower. And we mustn't also forget that Hydrapower has an extra Tower of Hera complete, which, although a very fast dungeon, is still a dungeon, including a cutscene.
And still without that mirror, SuperNinTaylor is going to have to head west before heading back east to get into the Dark World to get into Ganon's Tower, unless they find that mirror here soon.
SuperNinTaylor going for the spin street strat in desert. It's something I hate doing. I'm always scared I'll just jump off.
Yeah, me too.
But he used the pulse buffer to fire rod for it, which is the thing to do. But I'm a baby. I'll never go for that. I'll eat my half a second time loss or whatever it is I lose.
It's that risk reward ratio, right? Hydrapower turning Emeralds 1. SuperNinTaylor right on his heels. Should be a quick fight. Ooh, and doesn't get the 1 cycle.
Yeah. Missed the fire rod and then like an unfortunate movement as well. Oh, he's gonna get a 3rd cycle. Okay, they both got caught out in a similar way by Lammo. But SuperNinTaylor does get save a cycle, so it makes up a little bit of time. Chat were talking about no mode, but technically they're in no mode from the start. Like, at 0 minutes they're in no mode. They know where everything is. Yeah, so they don't need to pick up any more items unless they are not comfortable with Mimic Clip, and they will have to find a bow somewhere.
A few items in Turtle Rock, maybe they'll find one there, or we're in GT on the way in that big key. We'll have to see. But yeah, I just want to say this is impressive stuff here. You said a couple of great runners. We're 34 minutes into the seed. Both about to clear. I guess for SuperNinTaylor, he's got 2 left, but Hydrapower about to clear his last dungeon. No mode at 26 minutes. This is as jet as you can get, I think, for a seed like this.
Yeah, depending on maybe the key layout in Turtle Rock, Hydrapower will be in Ganon's Tower. It probably won't quite be below 40 minutes, but it'll be close.
Any of those sub-minute spoiler seeds do you get to see?
Oh, SuperNinTaylor having a little bit of trouble with the Herapod, and he's reverting to the spin speed method and using pause buffering for it. I've never learned the spin speed method. It's something I should probably learn. I've just been lazy, and I stick with an easier method. But it does look really cool when you get it in one clean movement.
Hydrapower, by the way, picking up magic powder in the compass chest in Turtle Rock. So I'll be seeing that he's got a little bit of a lead there and taking a little bit of extra time to go get that safety. Would help him on his GT climb for sure.
Yeah, if you can see the race situation, that's absolutely the right decision for him. Because he can definitely afford that time, and if that saves him a death, even like a quick death in Ganon fight, then that's a good idea. And he may immediately be putting it to use after this Crystal Roller Room. Not Crystal Roller Room, sorry, regular Roller Room. And that annoying dead rock blocking SuperNinTaylor when he was trying to do his spin speed exit from Hera. Very rude. Hydrapower playing it a little bit safe in Chomps. Very easy to die in Chomp's room in spoiler seats where you have, like, in his case, 4 hearts in this room. A very, very good pragmatic decision just to not rush and play it safe. And we'll see if he powders up in the next room or if he plows on ahead. SuperNinTaylor still with 4 hearts going into Turtle Rock. And I really admire how aggressive he's played it. And to be fair, his ability to do low percent fights has not cost him. It's been his little rooting mistakes that have cost him so far. His combat has been really efficient all seed. Yeah, I am enjoying the fact.
About...
Sorry, carry on, Migo.
I was gonna say you were talking about a rock routing and see they're not able to steal a key, having to go to the big key chest to get that big key. Going to cost a little bit of time to both of these runners. Or normally, hopefully, you wouldn't like to see that chest.
Yeah, another really interesting thing about spoiler seeds is that sometimes you can also skip stealing the key and just grab one on Laser Bridge, which is faster. But it depends on a particular key layout as well. So there are more options that you see in spoiler races that you don't necessarily see in regular seeds. The mirror cannot be in the pedestal because Swamp Palace requires the mirror, and it is one of the 3 pendants.
Hydrapower making his way back to Turtle Rock. I have to pick up either a key here in Crystal Roller Room or stop by to Laser Bridge, and just zooms right past that treasure chest. So he's obviously on his way to Laser Bridge to find that last key.
Yeah, that's very good. It's another room where muscle memory can take over and you can automatically go for that chest without looking it up. But Hydrapower, like as I said at the start, he's done a lot of spoiler seeds recently, and he is definitely in the zone for being able to look up these checks really quickly. His routing has been more efficient. And I think it's just because he's done more practice recently, of spoiler seeds in particular. And I think it's put him in a good position in this race. SuperNinTaylor almost getting the nice key dash there from the top left, pokey RNG, but he just bonked and then got bunny beams. That's a little unfortunate. Doesn't do the tap A new tech to speed up the unbunny animation there when you come out of that pipe.
Hydrapower picking up that key from Laser Bridge, nothing else. Trinex's doorstep here, and we should have a pretty quick fight with this butter sword. Only a couple slashes per head. We'll see if he can pull out the zero cycle.
Oh, he's not going for the back door.
For a safe strat. Yep.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many people do backdoor strats on Trinex in this tournament, actually, from the streams I've watched, even with low equipment, like just a hammer Trinex fight. But I honestly think in many ways it can be a lot safer, because you can get the fight over a lot quicker, and there's less dangerous head RNG or ice on the floor when you do it that way. So I think it's worth going for, even if you are on low health a lot of the time. It depends how comfortable you are with it, of course. But I think it's definitely a strat worth learning.
Totally agree. And, you know, someone like in SuperNinTaylor's case who is a little bit behind, it's possible that we see him pull that out even though he's on low health to try to catch up here a little bit.
I expect him to go for it no matter what, because it'll be what he has practiced most from his NMG runs. So that will be just his strat for Trinex, and I don't expect him to do anything different.
Here we go.
41 minutes and 17 seconds. Hydrapower's opening up Ganon's tower. Really fast seed this one. And really well played from Hydra so far. SuperNinTaylor taking the interesting decision to take the safety door here. Which is going to cost him a little bit of time, but it'll save him a lot of time if anything goes really badly in Turtle Rock.
Hydrapower getting that key off of Bob's torch, and then it's like he's heading to the right. So, big keys either here in Hope Room, Compass Room, Bob's chest, or Vanilla location possibly.
Oh yeah, everyone in chat, well, it's a bit late now, I suppose, because you've seen a couple of places, but get your guesses in chat. Which location you think the big key is in? I looked it up at the start, so I already know. So I can't guess. We both discussed the big key location actually before the seed, because it's quite an interesting one. Yeah, so as we expected, we see SuperNinTaylor doing the backdoor strats. Menus before he kills the head. Is he going to get the zero cycle? Yes, he is. Well done.
Now, just quickly note, he did get a piece of heart there to get a 5th heart, so he's now up to 5.
So on Hydrapower's side, we can see him pick up the bow in the compass room, and now he's going full right, which is another room we see very often. And does a really good job with no invincibility items in the right side firebar room. He's having a little bit of trouble with this beetle. He did such a good job with the firebar room, but not such a good job with the beetle room. I guess it's because one of them he practiced more than the other.
Right.
Because you don't think about the room after the firebar room as the bottleneck.
Oh.
And making use of this powder now, really, really handy location. This will be a timely refill before the Ice Armors fight and before the Gauntlet.
Almost perfect bow placement here, right before Armos. Can you imagine being 45 minutes or so into a spoiler seed and then just sword slashing Armos to death?
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what would be the best strat if they did not have a handy bow for the Ice Armos fight, because they don't have the kind of burner. They don't have half magic, so they can't just burn the fire rod shots. It would probably be stand there and use sword beams with the equipment that they have, but it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be pleasant.
No, it wouldn't be at all. Hydropower picking up a cape there in the big key room as well as the big key, and grabbing a fairy before his way up. Remember, he does not have that mirror, so having to take the long way out to get back towards the top of the Gammon's Tower. And picking up another key there in the big chest before making his way up.
That's fantastic routing from Hydrapower. I didn't even consider that when I was looking at it. The big chest, small key, that is probably the best he could have done. Because you need a small key to climb the tower, and he's right there anyway, so that's really clever.
I didn't even see that. When you and I were chatting before this off, we were talking about the key being in that next room there where you'd normally use the hammer. So yeah, picking up that extra, second or two, that routing is fantastic. The perfect amount of arrows as well as he cleans up those mimics.
Oh, he's taking a little bit of damage in the spike room, and he only has the green potion and not the blue potion that SuperNinTaylor bought. A really nice right side firebar room from SuperNinTaylor as well. That's not something a lot of people have done. Yeah. At a much better beetle room. Beetle warp room. Yeah, Hydrapower seeing his advantage takes the safety room. Very clever decision. All he needs to do really is just not die, and I think the race will be his, but it's easier said than done when you have only 6 hearts in Ganon's Tower.
Making quick work of the gauntlet. Sleep. While SuperNinTaylor about to pick up his big key and cape, making his way out the top of GT as well. We'll see where he gets this small key.
He already has a small key, which is interesting. So he picked it up on the left side before he went right side. So he doesn't need.
Oh, I
the
didn't
big
even
chest.
notice. Okay.
So he did the route that me and you thought you had to do when we were looking at it before the seed started. But Hydrapower is just one step ahead.
And having a really clean climb so far. Getting through the gauntlet, getting through land modes quickly. Should see Aghanim here in no time.
Yeah, very clean from SuperNinTaylor so far. He does the 1 heart damage strategy in the spike room on the first floor, which is something he would have done a lot in the All Dungeons tournament that is finishing up soon. Because that is another category where you have very low health going into Ganon's Tower, so you can't really do the 3 heart strategy. Hydrapower needs to kill the mini Moldorm. Oh, and he's got a heart refill. How are all these runners doing this? The 4th heart piece refill at the top of Ganon's Tower.
It's not enough that his routing's been perfect, and he's been doing all this on low health, but able to count 4th heart piece there, fantastic.
Yeah, and he'll have a much more comfortable full 7 hearts of damage of health now, probably for the Ganon fight. And red mail. So he's actually looking in really great shape. And as you can see, there are no more bows forthcoming. The other bow, if you're interested, was on the graveyard ledge. So our runners didn't go near that one. They saw that the pendant layout, they realized they didn't need a bow until Ganon's Tower, and that they saw there was one in Ganon's Tower they could pick up.
Mirror.
The mirror was on the Pyramid Fairy, which is very interesting and awkward because Turtle Rock was one of the 5-6 crystals, so you could never really have it and make it easier to complete Turtle Rock. So it was a very awkward layout, but thankfully they didn't need to even get it because Swamp was a pendant in the seed.
Hydrapower with a very fast active fight. I will say I am a little sad we didn't get to see that sub 50-minute seed. Ganon's Tower, his tower being a little bit mean to us, putting that big key in the basement with no mirror.
Yeah, the big key was almost vanilla. No mirror. Turtle Rock had the vanilla big key as well. You know, if these things were a little bit friendlier, this could for sure have been a sub 50 seed.
Yeah, but nonetheless, still amazing seed to watch. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Ganon fight's going to be considerably easier with Gold Sword. Don't have to worry about getting the 12 hits. 6 hits will do in each phase. And bringing out the cape for safety.
Getting that one-on-one, picking out the cape, not even using that much magic as he was holding onto the wall in order to not drain that magic. So hopefully he can get this torch glitch and it's 12 slashes from there. And I saw chat asking about flippers. Flippers were part of the Smith chain.
Hydrapower switching to the Fire Rod, and I thought this was a little risky, but actually, because he does have a green potion, he can afford to burn a few Fire Rods and then use the potion to get more magic. Does need to be a little careful now, though. He still has quite a few spins to go, but this shouldn't be the most dangerous part of the run. I know I've been commentator cursing him a lot, but I'm sure he'll be fine here. SuperNinTaylor takes down Aga 2. Following, he'll be in the Ganon fight before Hydrapower is complete, so still a very close race. Alright, well done Hydrapower, get your GG's in.
GG's to Hydrapower. An amazingly fast seed. Right around 53 minutes. This is a pleasure to watch. GG's to him.
Yeah, very impressive. Hydrapower finishes with a 1:08:04 time.
53 minutes and 4 seconds. SuperNinTaylor in his Ganon fight. It's the 1-in-1 cycle. Ooh, and takes a death there to those bats. That's doesn't feel good. Sticks with it, jumps right back down to Ganon, and hopefully he's able to pull this out quickly.
Yeah, so Hydrapower is going to join us shortly for an interview. So look forward to that in just a second.
Nice work there by SuperNinTaylor. I'm just gonna say he gets that forward slash in. He's up hook shotting over to that lamp that he can light the torch before it goes out. That was some pretty cool tech.
Yeah, and he should have enough magic to do the silverless fight without needing to use his potion as well. Really good fight so far, lots of triples. Alright, get your GGs in for SuperNinTaylor. And SuperNinTaylor finishes with an SRL time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 32 seconds. That includes the 15-minute study period. Fairly close race. Really well done to both runners. Really fast seed and really well done by both of them. And we are joined by Hydrapower. GG's, man. Well done.
Hey, good thing I had that 7th heart container, right? Oh my god, holy potatoes. Yeah, that was great. I'm kind of shaking right now. That was pretty crazy seed there.
Yeah, we were talking before it started, me and Moogle, about how it seemed like a really fast seed and like a really fun seed to run. But I'm wondering how it was from your perspective, because it's easy for me. I just had to look at how I would have routed it, but I didn't have any pressure running it. How was it for you?
It was fast and fun, like you said. So well done there. But yes, it was really fast, but it also wasn't a low percent kind of seed either, because some of those jet seeds can turn out to be that way. But this one really wasn't. And the only real problem was trying to figure out GT, I think, and so I didn't have any invincibility items for the right side. But I'm like, you know what? We just got to try it once, and if I die, then I'll just take the left side instead. But I made it through, and yeah, it was really wacky because I had no mirror and no flippers. I didn't need the flippers, but I had no mirror either. And so you don't usually get to GT without the mirror, so it was very strange. And I had to figure out, okay, how can I get the bow and then the key and then have enough keys to go upstairs? And there's a big key, or there's a small key in the big chest. It was crazy overall. And then I got the lucky heart piece routing, because I never keep track of. Well, I keep track of how many heart pieces I have. I don't keep track of like where they are in the log. So that was like 2 lucky ones right there to get me the 7th heart container, which I ended up needing. So overall, it was just a wild ride. I hope it was as fun to watch as it was to play.
Yeah, absolutely, it was great. And I was just, when I saw you open the big chest in Ganon's Tower, I thought to myself, that's genius. I would never have thought of that.
A bit of a panic too, because I'm like, I have no keys. Where are the keys? I gotta find the keys. And I had looked like kind of while I was in Turtle Rock, like through some downtime there, and I'm thinking like, well, maybe I just have to die after getting the bow and then go back to the left side and try to get some keys that way. But as it turns out, there's like a miracle small key in the big chest. So I'm like, I'll just take that. So, and then we'll just go upstairs. And it's a good thing I knew about that little fairy room to the north too as well, because that you don't see very often either. So just a lot of like little tiny game knowledge things for Ganon's Tower were really helpful in this seed here.
Were you watching the restream and were you aware of the lead that you had going into Ganon's Tower?
Absolutely not. I was too busy paying attention to what I was doing. I did not. I didn't want to know. I know Taylor's a great player, and I didn't want to worry about where he was and try and psych myself out that way. So I just wanted to do what I was doing and not really worry about it. And I really started to get nervous during Aga 2, which I botched the cycle really bad. And so I'm thinking like, well, he's probably right on my tail, or he's probably ahead, and he's probably in Ganon's fight right now. But I can't worry about it. I didn't want to know, and I'll figure I'll just fight out at the end.
Yeah, it's interesting because it works both ways, doesn't it? Because if you could have seen that your opponent was quite a bit behind, it probably would have relaxed you a lot more, so it can work both ways sometimes, knowing where your opponent is.
Right, and I did look in week 1 because I was curious how TechnoLink was doing, and Techno's my buddy, but it seemed like I was the favorite in that one, so I just wanted to see where he was at, and I saw that he had kind of struggled a bit there. So then I did relax a little bit, even though you shouldn't do that kind of thing in these matches. But I didn't want to know where Taylor was. I didn't want to worry about relaxing or not relaxing or trying to psych myself out or anything. So I'm just going to play my game, and we'll see what happens at the end here. So it's probably going forward. I'm going to face probably somebody really tough at 2-0, and I'll probably do the same thing there, where I don't really worry about what the other person's doing.
Yeah, I mean, SuperNinTaylor's a super tough opponent already, and if you can beat him, you can beat anyone in this tournament. I think you have a really good shot of doing really well. So I think you did great.
Thanks for jinxing me to get like Zelda or Aerie at 2-0, so then I can just get curb stomped. So I appreciate that, but I'm joking.
Don't worry, I tried to commentate you, curse you loads of times during the seed. Like, oh, there's no way he's gonna die here, and you didn't. So I think I'm immune.
No, not dying is a great thing. It doesn't matter if you escape with half a heart or 1 heart, and we see that a lot here. And I think that's what makes this tournament really exciting, is because you just don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know if somebody's going to take that death. Like we watched Chris and Ninban yesterday, and that was full of deaths and mishaps and stuff, but it was so exciting and so fun to watch, and I hope everyone else is enjoying this tournament and the mishaps and deaths and roller coaster rides it can create, because I think it's really fun. I enjoy playing this mode, of course, and you know that, and it's fun to watch too. Yeah, yay spoilers.
Do you have any questions, Boogle?
I was going to say that was one of the cool things about this seed. You mentioned kind of at the top of this interview that it wasn't a low percent seed, but if you watch this back, it was a low percent seed for SuperNinTaylor. He had 4 hearts all the way up through until I believe it was Laser Bridge, where he grabbed a heart piece to get to his 5th heart. He was on Blue Mail, so for us as viewers, it was really exciting to see the two of you duking this out with SuperNinTaylor on really low health and still pulling out a lot of these low percent boss fights without any issues. There were a couple times where we saw you as well, picking up a powder or getting a safety where we thought maybe you were watching, but sounds like you weren't. So good job by you.
No, I really like. Oh, thank you. I really like the powder anyway. I think it's a really good safety for this mode because you can reuse it all the time, and there's almost always an anti-fairy, but before like a really tough boss fight. I guess the one boss fight I was worried about was Vidi, because I didn't have the bow or invincibility, but Butter Sword just kind of melts everything, so it's fine. But yeah, and some people redline it really hard and do like 4 or 5 hearts, and I mean, if you can get away with it, then you have the advantage. But that's a little too much for me at this point. So I like, I normally like 7, but with red mail, I think 6 is fine too. So because for me, I like having the 3 hits, which 7 blue gives you, but 6 red gives you the same thing too. So yeah, so kudos to him for that redlining. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we were also joined by SuperNinTaylor. GG's, man. How are you feeling after that?
Oh, I'm feeling all right. Yeah, I was gonna just skip the interview. I was like, I might as well come say hi and GG to Hydra.
GG, man. Well played.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun seed, though. Quite the, I guess you can kind of call it a jet seed. Depends what kind of items you want to go find. But if you just want to grab the items and go beat the game, that was quite the jet seed.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with you, like just going all in on like having 4 hearts for most of the game. Did you feel comfortable with that amount of health, or were you always trying to look out for a bit more?
I mean, I'm always welcoming more. I think the issue is I need to find a better tracking method. So I don't really have time to look for hearts and all that stuff. Because basically, I just look at the log and I scroll down and look at every single item on the log. I read every line of the log. I don't like look for specific items. I just look, and if I see something like, oh, that's something I'll probably need, I mark that down. And it gives me about like 2 minutes after I know where all the items are to try to figure out a route, which gives me enough time to figure out maybe just the light world, and then I just wing it for the rest of the thing. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to try to find a more efficient tracking method.
Yeah, it's surprisingly hard. Like to those who in chat who haven't done this before, give it a go because it's really hard to come up with a good coherent route in only 15 minutes. The time just flies by.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
where I
you'd
lost
think-
a lot of my time. It's just like not doing Hera right away, and then not thinking about the whole small key situation in Meyer and doing weird things there. Forgetting about the small keys in GT. Just a lot of small areas where I just kind of messed up my route a bit, where I lost a lot of time.
I mean, GT was really weird today because you didn't have the mirror and you had to get the bow and then decide if you're going right side or if you're going to die and try to go back left side. And I actually grabbed the small key from the big chest so that I had one going upstairs. I mean, how often do you see that, really? So
Yeah, I didn't even know there was one in there.
Were you watching the restream, NinTaylor?
Yeah, I had it on the side there to peek over every once in a while. I knew I was behind pretty early on. I think it was when I was completing Desert. I think we were both completing Desert around the same time, but he already had Hera done. I was like, yeah, I'm a fair bit behind now.
yeah, I almost forgot to figure out how to get into Desert because I'm like, wait, where's the book? Where's the book? And then I found it before I had got to Meyer yet, so that worked out. But that could have been a disaster. So
Yeah, I was almost thinking So when I started the seed, I was like, okay, I shouldn't need the mirror because the book is in Meyer. And I started playing, I was like, oh wait, but the only bow we can get is in Graveyard Ledge, so maybe I do need to get the mirror. And then I looked, I was like, wait, we don't have to do any of the bow dungeons. I don't need mirror, so just back and forth, like trying to figure out what I was supposed to do.
yeah, definitely some curveballs in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, seed full of traps. I'm pretty sure I would have realized I didn't need the mirror if I ran the seed, and then forgot about the book being needed for
Yeah.
Desert Palace, and then panicked at some point. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what would have happened to me.
Yeah, well, one of the things I do when I'm doing my note taking is I mark the things that you could need. Like if I see cape, I'll make a quick note of that in case of the bumper cave. I'll make a note of book, mushroom, powder, all those things, all those little fetch quest things, or things that could be needed, or bombos, like if fire rod is in ice. Yeah, I always keep track of those things just in case.
And know where they are than to realize you need them later and have to try to figure it out.
Yeah. Then if later I start planning out my route and realize I don't need it, I say, okay, I'll just mark it off and be like, don't worry about that item.
Hype cave though, that was pretty hype, wasn't it?
That was pretty hype, yeah. It was
Yeah.
Fire rod, ice rod, bombos. Was there a sword as well? I can't remember.
Armor as well, I think.
Armor.
The armor was there. The swords. Well, let's see. I got the one. So I ended up water walking to Hobo because I figured I need to go to Ice Rod Cave anyway, and got that sword early on. I don't know if you did the same thing, but that was pretty nice. I was actually going to go to Waterfall Ferry for a heart, but then I realized I didn't really need it. So, but yeah, that water walk was really helpful.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, you both did that. I thought it was quite clever, but not falling for the trap of trying to grab the flute before you get to the village for the first time.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was able to actually plan out. I'm usually able to plan out the early game, so I thought about getting the boots first so I could water walk to get the sword.
I was actually going to save and quit after the Sanctuary sword and then go down South Shore, but then I realized, wait a minute, no, I want the boots first. So I made the extra village trip, but that's fine too. So boots, I think, probably the most important thing to get, especially early on. So I'll take it. And I would have to come back eventually to the village anyway, so we can activate the flute later.
You guys did pretty much the same things, except Hydra, you ended up comboing in Skullwoods with Thieves Town. Then when you went up the mountain to get your bombos, you did Hera. And SuperNinTaylor, you had just saved those things for a little bit later, and I think that's what cost you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you guys did the same stuff.
Skullwoods, where was I? Was I at Tempered Sword yet, or was I on Master Sword? I'm not sure.
Skullwoods, you had Tempered Sword.
Did I? Oh, okay. I don't know. I guess maybe I was just hoping I'd accidentally run into more hearts or gear or something, then I could do it later just for safety reasons. I didn't think it would be much slower to just flute there and then lift up the rock and finish it if I had to. But I guess it's probably a little bit slower.
Yeah, I was thinking of it in like the NMG route to just go from Thieves to Skull, even though I don't play NMG at all. But it just popped in my head there that like, oh, let's do this and then let's go up there and then because without the mirror, of course, you have to save and quit. So if you end up, the save and quits kind of are insidious there. They really add up, over time. So I was trying to minimize that as much as I could. Yeah. You just have to go with a plan. You can't be perfectly optimal in 15 minutes, of course. So you just see how it goes. I just want to say thanks, you guys, for your commentary today. I'm sure it was really exciting to watch. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. And GG again, Taylor. I really enjoyed playing against you, and good luck next round. And I would be nervous over here to see who I'm going to get at 2-0.
Yeah. Sure, it won't be anyone easy.
No, not at all. But in the meantime, tomorrow I'm going to watch my buddy Shady Force, who's going up against Matt 7898. Somehow the 0-1 game. I don't know how that happened, but
I know that's going to be fun.
Oh, man.
How did I draw Matt in the 0-1 group? This is ridiculous.
I don't know. It's not good, man. But yeah,
one of us are gonna.
Many more games happening today in spoiler tournament, so I'll be watching those for sure. But thanks again, guys, and I really appreciate it. And we'll see you around soon.
Yeah, thanks Hydra, and thanks SuperNinTaylor for a fantastic race. Anyone in chat, please give these guys a follow. hydrapower78, SuperNinTaylor on Twitch, give them a follow and go and say hello to them in their streams when they're doing this and other stuff. And thanks so much to my co-commentator Mukul Charm. I think that's all from me. Mukul, do you have anything final to say?
Oh, GG's to the runners. Thanks for co-commenting with me. This was a ton of fun. I do want to give a shout out to our tracker, Board Collector. Please give them a follow as well.
Yeah, shout outs to Board Collector. Did a great job for us, helping us out, not just with tracking, but also with some setup stuff. I really appreciate it. So I guess that's it from us. More speed gaming, more Link to the Past Randomizer coming up this evening and indeed all weekend. So tune in for that. Thanks, everyone. Take care.